Hi, and welcome to History's a Blast. It's August the 9th, 2025. We're at the East Broad Top Railroad in Rock Hill, Pennsylvania. And we've been here for a couple of days doing some things, some exciting things that I want to share with you. So come along for the ride. I'm sitting on a picnic table behind the general office building and depot in Rock Hill, the Robertsdale Depot, ironically, across the creek from that borough. Yesterday was Archives Day in Robertsdale, Pennsylvania, the former coal company town of the East Broad Top Railroad sister company, the Rock Hill Coal Company. And I was there to give that walk and talk on what has changed in the town of Robertsdale since the railroad arrived, or since before the railroad arrived actually in 1874. And the day before that, I was here to do some coordination with the East Broad Top Foundation's staff, archival staff, and I was invited to go along for the ride on the inaugural steam train service. This was not really revenue, this was for staff and volunteers, but south of the Rock Hill Yard, crossing over Pennsylvania Route 994 and stopping in front of the South Huntingdon High School, that's the South Huntingdon County High School, which actually wasn't there when the railroad shut down in 1956. It was built in the early 1960s, and the railroad actually ran the gas-electric M1 down there to prove that the line was still active so that the construction crews didn't tear the rails out to make room for the busway. Now the bus circle, the school bus circle, is having its grade crossings installed over the newly relayed 3-foot gauge track that will end temporarily at the north end of the 270-some foot Pogue Bridge, which will be restored at a later date. So I want to share that with you. Now we're rolling. First time since April 1956.
Yep.
First time steam has been this far south since April 1956. Staff special. August 8th, August 8th. Keeping in line with the restoration theme, back in July when we were here, we traveled over to the village of Saltillo, which is further south from Pogue, from the Pogue Bridge. And that's the theme of the Friends of the East Broadtops Preservation Fund, the March to Saltillo. That's the goal. That's the midterm goal, to get the railroad restored all the way to Saltillo, where there's a Y that they can turn the train, and a passing siding. It'll be very exciting when it happens, hopefully in the next 2 to 3 years. In the meantime, the Saltillo station, which was demolished about 20 years ago for safety reasons, is being restored, actually rebuilt as a replica using modern construction techniques on its original site, using architectural drawings funded by the Friends of the East Broadtop many, many years ago. And we went over to see the progress on that facility, and we were very excited. So let's share that with you now. We're in the little town of Saltillo, Pennsylvania, an important point on the East Broadtop Narrow Gauge Railroad. And this is the replica depot, replacing and representing the original building that was demolished quite a while ago now for safety reasons. It's in the colors it would have been in during the common carrier era, still under construction by the contractor. The Friends of the East Broadtop, the nonprofit, working with the East Broadtop Foundation, that's been in existence since the 1980s, will complete the interior. And we're now looking in the direction of Railroad South, although we're looking to the northwest. In the direction around the curve and through those trees on the left-hand side would have stood the covered water tank, which was destroyed by fire in December/January 1980. What was I going to say? 1986/7. And I made a comment on Facebook a while ago from the photographs that it looked like the foundation was higher than the original station, but they're actually pretty close to, it looks, as I'm here on site, it looks fairly close to grade. And as Brad Esposito, the general manager, replied to me, they were very careful in their measurements and planning so that the station would match the height of the rails once they finish replacing the grade and relaying the rails, to comply with the new elevation of the highway, which is, you can see, several inches higher than it was at the time the railroad came through here. And this is allowing for settling of the rails into the dirt after the ties have rotted away as well. So quite a bit of work needs to be done here before people like me comment and expostulate on how high the station is. But there it is. Now we're looking railroad north in the direction of Three Springs and ultimately Aughwick and Mount Union. A lot of great things happening on the East Broadtop Railroad and the East Broadtop Foundation, along with the Friends of the East Broadtop. I really shouldn't leave Saltillo without mentioning the old La Palace Hotel across the street. A landmark. Still has the sign painted on it. Isn't that nice? Privately owned now, of course. Well, it was privately owned in the old days, but it's not being run as a hotel. Anyway, here we are, Saltillo, Pennsylvania, in the near future to be reinstated as a station and a depot on the East Broadtop. And finally today, I'm just putzing around the railroad before I go back home and trying to get some nice video without a bunch of rail fans cluttering it up of restored steam locomotive 282 number 16, which I'll share some footage of now with you, and hope you enjoy. Well, that will about do it for this time. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll take some time to look at a few of our other ones as well. See you soon.